Ladies and gentlemen, here's the trailer. It's about 3 minutes and 11 seconds. This is the trailer to it. I don't know how loud this is about to be. Hope it's not too loud.
I remember one time,
Oh my God, we're in real life?
when we moved offices, we had to have an electrician come in, and he had to come in late. I was the only one in the office, so I let him in, and he said, "So you make video games
Ontario,
here?"
Canada.
I said, yeah. He's like, "Whoa, any video games I might have heard of?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know, Unreal Tournament 2003." He said, "Oh yeah, you know, I really wanted to like that Unreal Tournament 2003, but you replaced a sniper rifle with that god-awful lightning gun." And I'm like, "Yep, that was me. I made that."
Back then, you were really beholden to publishers to get your games out. There wasn't digital distribution. You know, you needed to get your game onto a retail shelf, and to do that was really expensive.
Dude, that bass drop just gave me chills.
Being an independent developer up until about 5 to 7 years ago was really difficult.
So yeah, the old DE that I worked at made some Unreal games with Epic.
Yo, this group.
DE that I worked at.
This group is crazy. I love this.
Some Unreal games with Epic.
W game devs, absolutely.
Right? Here's our idea for games. You know,
My
we tried to
subtitles
make
go.
This crazy sci-fi game that was called Dark Sector. That wasn't the Dark Sector that shipped. You walk in, you show this tech demo, and they say, "This is awesome. This is great. How would you like to make a sequel to this game instead?"
Pitches and those
like an
things
alpha
were
version
harder
of
to
the
do, and the quality bar that the publisher required and the risks they were willing to take they weren't willing to take them anymore. So it was like, okay, well, we're gonna have to figure out something else.
Oh shit. The story of a struggling studio.
They said, "This is great. I can't believe this. What an exciting meeting. I'm so..."
Oh my God.
And in slow motion,
Excalibur.
the record needle scratched because it was sci-fi.
Right.
And they just walked out.
Yeah. And we were like, what?
Oh, completely. It was it was a Hail Mary.
Really, at that time, was the most scary was doing free-to-play wrong, because we were doing it wrong. We were selling power.
Oh my dear God.
Oh,
what have we
hell
done?
no.
We've made,
Can't be
we've
selling
created a
power.
slot machine.
Can't be selling power.
We talked to other people in the free-to-play industry, and they said, "You're screwed." People were saying, "Your game is going to be dead in 6 months."
If we had just released a weapon week after week after week after week for the last 5 years, we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation.
Wait, is this why you guys were saying that Warframe started off as a gacha game? After this, you should look up Dark Sector.
Heavy attack! Headshot!
War Stories. Or March 25th, 2013. Okay, Jesus, I was 12 years old when this game came out. All right. This is part one. This is about 30 minutes. I need subtitles. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
I still remember the first time I played Warframe. I just treated myself to a launch day PlayStation 4, and during a break playing FIFA or Killzone Shadowfall or something, I wandered onto the PlayStation Store just to see what else was available. And it was then that I came across this curious looking free-to-play game.
I wasn't quite sure what to make of Warframe, to be honest. I had no idea it was made by the studio responsible for one of my favorite games ever, Unreal Tournament. I had no idea that it was a game that Digital Extremes had been trying to release in some form or another for over a decade. And I certainly didn't realize that this curious little free-to-play game was the studio's last chance at survival.
Warframe's been out for 5 years now on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and of course PC. In fact, it spent most of its time on the PC in Steam's top 10 most concurrent players chart. But it's also a game that a lot of people know absolutely nothing about.
I completely agree.
So we thought, what better candidate for a NOCLIP retrospective than the remarkable story of Digital Extremes and Warframe. This story starts 3 decades ago in the Great White North.
The Great White North. Bro, I can't believe, like, So what? This video came out. This video was 8 years ago. Okay, so it's about a 5 year after the release. I'm already crying here, hearing that it was a studio's salvation.
All the way through to the end of university, I always
Yeah.
had in my head that I would do games just in my spare time as a hobby. It was always a hobby in my head. I wasn't getting into a real job in games, so I kind of put that out of my head. But yeah, I made games all throughout university. I went to university for mechanical engineering and expected to go into mechanical engineering. And one of the little games I was making through university, I got published in this little kind of magazine disc thing called Big Blue Disc.
I took a programming class in high school at like a separate trade school for 2 years. We like did like very basic like programming and game design. I made like a maze game and like I forget what the software was, but we also made another like little game. So this is kind of cool that this guy also had like the same sort of thing, but he actually was into it. I wasn't really interested in it. It was mainly just like lectures, but it's pretty cool.
That would be on, you'd see it on the magazine shelves, you know, come out monthly. And I was just looking around for something to do with my game that I finished, which is kind of a cool little game. And I sent it to them and they paid me my $1,200. Right,
ooh, $1,200.
And so I was amazed that I actually made a little bit of money from this tiny little game. And so that's kind of the first stepping stone to get it to the professional and actually money coming in. What was the game?
Dax, I love you, bro.
It's called
Thank
Legends
you so
of
much.
Murder. You can search it online and probably find it. I think I found it somewhere.
Fantastic title.
Legends of Murder.
And it actually works. I was just playing it a couple months ago.
himself.
I download it somewhere, and it's yeah, it's funny little game. I still thought at that point it would be a hobby and I thought it'd be fantastic if I could make a little bit of extra income from that. And so as I was finishing university, I was a big fan of Star Trek at the time, and it was and then a game called Star Control had come out. I just loved this idea in my mind of combining those two things, and I ended up making this game called Solar Winds, which was just finishing up as I was graduating university.
Solar Winds.
And right around that time, I knew this game was a little bit bigger, a little bit more interesting, a little bit more viable as a real product.
1993, bro. This guy's been grinding for years. I love old graphics, and even like old like VHS videotapes. The way that those look, oh my god.
And so I remember playing
anything old school. I fuck with heavy. Not gonna lie.
It was a shareware game at the time. I actually physically wrote an actual letter to David Gray. I do believe his name is. I can't believe I remember that. And I sent the letter off to him. I asked, can people make money from shareware because you're giving it away for free? And he wrote back and he told me about CompuServe. It was a good online area where people discuss games and shareware and stuff like that. And he said, yeah, some people make a few bucks and some people make $1 million. And of course that, my mind exploded. And I think from there, that's where I got onto CompuServe and I found out about Apogee and Epic Games. I met Mark Rain and
Epic Games? How long have they been around? What? I thought they were new with Fortnite and everything. I didn't know they were around back then.
First game in
a while, to be honest. I guess so.
By Epic Mega Games at the time. I think I was making about $1,200 a month from Solar Winds, and
that's good money for 1993.
Go from $1,200 a month to $2,400 a month. I can actually live reasonable on that.
We're stacking bread.
It was exciting times, and I just loved the work. And the game that came after that was Epic Pinball, and so. As I was making, I was like, okay, this is good. This game is my best yet.
Epic
it's going
Pinball.
really well, and so I was
not
really
to be confused.
Quite, excited about it, thinking, yeah, maybe I'll make more than $2,400 a month. Maybe I'll make $3,000. It's like in my mind, oh my God, $4,000 a month. That would be like a luxury. And of course, it comes out, and it was a monster. Like for individual, for one person making, it was a monster hit. And I just remember my first check was like $50,000. So.
50 bands? What? 1993, bro. Oh, we're stacking in the dough, dude. That reminds me of the guy that made Schedule 1. That guy made like $3 million in the first night, or like the first week, because it's just a solo developer. Just thinking, bro. Epic Pinball was huge at the time I played that. Holy shit, really, bro? Shout out you, dude. 1993. I was about -10 years old or whatever. Or -12. I was born in 01.
It was a whole new world, and that was
generational. Literally, bro. 50 racks in '93.
Climb.
Wow, what a fucking banger. Good for him,
By
dude.
the time James had finished his marathon of work on Epic Pinball, he was pretty tired of making pinball games. But Epic Mega
As you
Games, the game's
do.
publisher, knew that a sequel would be wonderful business. James pushed back, saying he didn't have the creative energy to work on another pinball game. So Epic suggested that he hire some people to do the work for him. This was the foundation of Digital Extremes. And the first game for the team, Extreme Pinball, was another hit. While James's new team was working on pinball, he was taking his first steps into 3D game design. And it's through this that a decade-long collaboration with Epic would begin.
Oh, they collab? This looks like Doom.
Today we often associate this franchise with Epic Games, but the original games were born out of a tight collaboration between the two studios. Between the two, they were around 16 people working collaboratively on the project. During the development of Unreal, the Epic team traveled to London, Ontario to work on the game.
Bro.
During the development of
Look at this poster, bro. Look at this poster. Bro. Unreal Tournament, a great game. Oh, okay, that's what that game was, bro. This poster just speaks to me, dude. I love this old school design shit, man. This is so fucking cool to me.
Unreal, the Epic team traveled to London, Ontario to work on the game, while the team at Digital Extremes traveled to Raleigh, North Carolina, where Epic is still based, to work on UT99.
As intense as Unreal was, and hard, and really just trying to ship a game, Unreal Tournament was, I think, felt more creative and a little less pressure, but that allowed us to make even a better game, I think. At that point, so my programming contribution went down, and I think I focused more on the art and weapon. I can proudly say I think all the
Look at the movement. This guy's fucking skating, bro.
What are some of your favorite weapons from?
Oh, the flat cannon's always been my favorite. I was very
this
happy with
guy's
how that
skating.
Did you put the smiley face at the end of the alt fire?
I did. Do you know that? I'm not sure if this story's ever been told. We were all in North Carolina, and we were coming back from lunch somewhere, and we walked past a church called the Redeemer. It's like, hey, that's a great name for the big guy. So,
pilotable nuclear weapon.
Yes.
Named after.
You got the name from a church for 96p CGI? Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Great.
I know Cliff had a lot of input in the weapons as well, but we wanted something that was
Yeah, the
more
bro.
than just basic shooting. Combining the alt fires to add an extra layer of skill on top. So we're always looking for a way to add that, you shoot the weapon in its basic form and you can do well, but if you have that extra skill and you can do the combos or whatever, that there's an extra layer of skill that's kind of built on top of the weapons. So that was definitely the intention, as much as we possibly could.
Do you have any favorite maps from that original 99 one?
Facing Worlds, Cedric's map was definitely one of our favorites that we played in the office. There was a lot of really good ones. I like Deck 16 was awesome. It was Nisha's map that was very memorable.
On Championship, pretty much everything. I worked on weapons, progression. I'm a programmer. Was how I got my job here. So
game director.
I weapons, I program game modes, I program bots, bombing run, like all those kind of things. I remember one time when we moved offices, we had to have an electrician come in, and he had to come in late. I was the only one in the office, so I let him in. And he said, "So you make video games here?" And I said, yeah. He's like, "Whoa, any video games I might have heard of?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Unreal Tournament 2003. He said, "Oh yeah, I really wanted to like that Unreal Tournament 2003, but you replaced a sniper rifle with that god-awful lightning gun."
Oh.
And I'm like, "Yep, that was me."
After UT99, the teams continued to collaborate.
Probably just felt like a piece of shit
for consoles.
And I believe Steve is leading the Soulframe project now. Really good for him, dude.
And Unreal Tournament 2003. But by the time UT 2004 came around, collaborating remotely became much more difficult, as both studios had grown so much. It was during this period that Epic and Digital Extremes almost merged, but the idea was scrapped once they realized the Canadian government would require a sizable tax payment up front. And so instead, like college roommates after the last day of class, Digital Extremes and Epic Games went down their own different paths.
You mean to tell me because of Canadian tax reasons they never merged. Bro, imagine if this never happened and they had merged then. Wow, what a thing to think about, dude. Where the fuck would Epic be now? Where would he, like, oh my god, bro. Dude, the butterfly effect from this is insane to think about, genuinely. Holy shit. And then they came back together to put Excalibur in Fortnite 20-some years later. Wow. The only tax we are grateful for, on God. Epic
After the
would be
release
where
of
it is
Unreal
right now.
Tournament 3, Epic would want to partner with Microsoft Studios to create the Gears of War franchise. And
yo, I'm so hyped for the new Gears of War, by the way, guys. I'm gonna play the shit out of that when that comes out. The beta, the closed beta is only in a couple days, no? Oh, I can't wait.
Digital Extremes had a big idea of their own.
I love Gears of War.
Sci-fi action MMO they were calling Dark Sector. They poured their creative energy into this project, hoping it would be the key to a new era for the studio. And in fact, it was. But instead of sending them down the path of creating an entirely new franchise for them to own, the demo kept securing them work-for-hire projects.
Dark Sector
So
mentioned.
yeah, the old DE that I worked at made some cool Unreal games with Epic, and then we hit the pitch circuit, right? Here's our idea for games. You know, we tried to make this crazy sci-fi game that was called Dark Sector.
They won Game of the Year?
The Dark Sector that shipped. And that was, I remember that was living out of a suitcase for 6 months, traveling Europe and West Coast with a tech demo in a cube PC. You walk in, you show this tech demo, and they say, this is awesome, this is great. How would you like to make the sequel to this game instead? Right? So, you know, that wasn't really, I mean, it was very creatively upsetting and kind of soul destroying because you're putting everything into this, but it got us work. Publishers have their franchises and they want to build on that. And so we did that. We did what we call work for hire. Work for hire is we're going to pay you a lot to grow an extreme amount to your breaking limit.
Oh boy.
So you have all these people to take care of with their families, their mortgages, and their hopes and dreams.
Right.
We're going to pay you just enough to get to the end of the project. You better pray it earns out so you can get your royalties back.
If I look back on my career, it was probably my biggest personal mistake.
God, that's scary.
Was to, you know, we had some good money coming in. We weren't that.
Bro, imagine, oh my god, bro, imagine working on a game for so long with this whole team and you guys grow so close together and the game comes out and it flops. Like, bro, that's gotta be the worst shit. Oh, I would hate that so much, dude. That would fucking, talk about a vibe kill.
That big, we were quite successful, but we had our eye on, like, you know, let's make something like the next Halo, like something huge, right? Because the games are at that point were getting bigger and bigger, and that was exciting to us, and we wanted to be, you know, AAA, huge, biggest games, and so we'd come up with a demo or pitching ideas to publishers looking to use their money to make some
Look at that
product.
computer, bro.
Definitely a challenge that went on with us for many,
Those
many
old
years,
school
looking
PCs.
for that product of our own. When possibly the best.
Anybody else
better
have a
decision
box
at the time would
PC
be
back then?
To have been taking our own money and made
Or
our
back in
own
the day?
small little product that was fully funded ourselves. That wasn't striving to be that big, massive blockbuster.
But that's your own money, it's more risky. You could
More risky, but then you have full control over it because just when you're doing a work for hire project, I mean, it's their money, so
They were heavy back then, absolutely.
They want, and maybe you never know exactly what they want, or they don't know what they want. And if you look at our history and most independent studios' history, when they have full control, complete control over the product they're making, which often only comes if you're funding it yourself, you will make a better product.
For over a decade, Digital Extremes would work predominantly in the
You still have a box screen? What? Wolf. It's 2026. What do you mean you still have a box screen? We couldn't afford one, but my school library had a few. Dude, I used to go to the local library to play fucking like cool math games and shit back in the day. Like you had to get like a membership and stuff. You had to like you had to buy like time on the computers in the community library. It was crazy. I don't know why we don't throw it away, Dad. Thanks. The old 2 monitors still work. That's insanity, bro. I want the crappy oval speaker. Oh my god, the oval speakers, dude! I remember those. Oh my god, bro. My mom used to have an office upstairs and we still had that. Oh my god. Yeah, bro. I had these little ass. It was about the size of this G Fuel container. A little black space speaker that was tilted with the little knob on the bottom, and they sounded like complete dog shit. I had 2 of them. I'm just glad I missed the dial-up internet. Oh yeah, bro.
Cutthroat world of work for hire. What many studios do when they're in this situation is scale up for projects and then conduct widespread layoffs afterwards. But James was from the area, and Digital Extremes was the only studio in town. His employees had roots, families, friends, mortgage payments. So him and the team did anything they could to keep contracts coming through the door. What this meant was that their Dark Sector idea kept getting kicked down the road while the team worked to keep the lights on. The studio partnered with Toronto-based Groove Games on Unreal Engine shooter Pariah and its sequel of sorts, Warpath. They took a contract to help create the PlayStation 3 port of BioShock, all the while shipping around their Dark Sector game.
We had this idea, what would Metal Gear and like the Dark Crystal be if you put them together? So of course there would be like anime energy tentacles coming out of people's heads. There would be really cool robots, but the metal would be organic and changing. You know, we had a lot of ideas, science fiction that wasn't necessarily just like James Cameron science fiction. We wanted maybe some Frank Herbert science fiction. So we had these kind of ideas.
What the fuck is that?
I went off and wrote a whole bunch of stuff about these characters and the artists. You know, Mike Brennan designed these beautiful, kind of very interesting enemies, and him and Jeff, you know, worked on the original kind of what became our Excalibur suit. And we went around and pitched it, and this was kind of when Halo was sort of a thing starting to emerge, but every publisher said no one likes sci-fi and they won't sell.
No one likes sci-fi and they won't sell. How fucking stupid was the guy who said that? What a dumbass. Are you serious? Well, dude, whenever I hear shit like this about like these massive companies or massive games and everything, and then you hear about the stories of how much it was denied and shit, it's incredible how people thought that like things like this wouldn't work. Executives being out of touch, never. Yeah, bro, literally. Like if this isn't proven, you know, the proof of concept hasn't been there for 20 years, I'm not investing in it. This is stupid and it'll never work. Bro, evolution, how do you think the world works, bro? New ideas, new concepts, new things. Everything evolves. You can't just stay with the same thing forever and think it's just gonna fucking multiply forever, dude. Like, it makes no sense to me. Think outside of the box for once in your fucking life. Stupid suits. No offense if you guys wear a suit here, but you get what I'm saying. Just shows even publishers back then didn't know what players want. Yeah, exactly, dude. They're just looking at a fucking number.
Consistently, every time.
Exactly what's happening right now with the traction shooters. Yes. And whatever publisher is working on the next big thing is currently getting fucking shut down tenfold until 5 years from now when it pops off. That kind of risk aversion is the worst for progress? Absolutely, Matabase. Wait. The original Dark Sector pitch video debuted at E3 2005. Oh my god, boys.
So the Tenno, which is the good guys, send in our boy. Here he is, Hayden Tenno. Looking nice
Hayden Tenno
in his ancient Excalibur armor suit.
Oh my god.
All right, so there he is, and this is the perspective of our game. It's sort of an over-the-shoulder mixed third-person, first-person type control scheme. We've got on the left analog stick, we have move and strafe. Like
it's perfect for 2005.
And on the right stick, we've got look, aim. So we see the suit at all times, but we have essentially what is a first-person control scheme.
Back then, you were really beholden to publishers to get your games out. There wasn't digital distribution. You know, you needed to get your game onto a retail shelf, and to do that was really expensive. And there was no way for kind of independent developers to be able to foot that bill. You know, you have to manufacture a certain amount even to get onto store shelves, and you have to pay all of that up front, along with, you know, the licensing fees that come with that. And being an independent developer up until about, I'd say 5 to 7 years ago was really difficult.
I mean, you talk to any kind of mid-sized developer, even these days, I think it's a...
Oh my God, the stamina bar, you're right. Holy shit. Yeah, we're watching the NOCLIP documentaries. Dude, they had the stamina bar.
And especially back then, it was a huge challenge because the games were becoming bigger and bigger. And the mid-sized games, it was really even more hit or miss if they were to even gain any traction in retail.
As that...
What a Chad! What the hell? Look at his face! Oh my God!
Runway was running out, and I was getting desperate, and we were getting chain yanked by publishers. You know, one publisher said, well, we don't like the hero, he's too feminine, can he have an eye patch? Like, literally crazy things like that. It was getting so close to signing, but just wasn't, and it was dragging on and dragging on. So we did a pivot. We said, oh, it's gonna be, okay, those sci-fi stuff, fine, okay, so it's gonna be more like Resident Evil than it is gonna be like, you know, Dark Crystal in space. So we kind of made these compromises in order to land the deal, and we did.
The Dark Sector that was eventually released looks almost nothing like the original pitch video. They took off the protagonist's mask. Instead of being a space soldier, he was now part of the CIA. It played less like Metal Gear and more like Resident Evil 4 or Gears of War. But they did keep the name, Hayden Tenno, a term they'd use again in the future. Dark Sector received above average reviews when it was launched in March of 2008, but it came out in a tough market as it was an incredibly popular time for third-person action games.
Flailed around for a while.
I love Resident Evil, so I'm not too mad about that, but I do hate how like these developers have to fucking bend the knee and do all this dumb shit to land a deal. Like change their initial, you know, philosophies and the vision for the game to appeal to these suits to get the deals to then get the game published. I hate that.
While trying to find its footing and
Scotty
find what the actual gameplay was and how we integrated
lead designer on
gunplay
Dark Sector
and the cover system that was in existing games like, you know, like Gears was inspiration, but we wanted to do something a little bit better, a little bit more fluid.
I mean, that's the difference between what the publisher at the time wanted with the game.
Yeah.
They wanted something that was more grounded and more kind of set in reality that people could relate to.
Wow, look at that finisher back then. I have the money, do what I say, or no money. Exactly, bro. It's fucked up. It's fucked up, dude.
Digital Extreme's Dark Sector project hadn't gone exactly the way they wanted to, but
obviously,
at the very least it had been competitive at market. Plus, the team had another game out the door.
They continued doing work for hire gigs. They developed the multiplayer for Bioshock 2 and Homefront. They designed The Darkness 2 for 2K and secured a contract to make the video game for an upcoming Star Trek movie. But the squeeze on mid-tier games was getting worse and worse for publishers. Rising development costs meant that the revenue required to make each of these games a financial success was rising with each year. Digital Extremes found themselves caught in the crossfire.
Well, I think a lot of publishers moved all that stuff internally, and you know, that mid-tier developer, you know, I think we saw the writing on the wall is those pitches and those things were harder to do, and the quality bar that the publisher required and the risks they were willing to take they weren't willing to take them anymore. So it was like, okay, well, we're gonna have to figure out something else.
You know, Star Trek's ramping down rather, and soon, you know, there won't be any more milestone payments coming in to keep the lights on.
All right, we figure these out. Yo, Fairwind, thanks so much for the Twitch Prime, dude. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Seriously.
This other project that we had started that we thought was going to get greenlit, that publisher had a bad quarter and are now doing everything in-house. You know, like these are literally things happening.
Yeah, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you.
And
much love.
It was definitely hard to get those to work with.
Oh my God, bro, I love this, dude. When I get my own place again, I want to get like displays and shit of a bunch of like my favorite games and set up a hallway like this. I love the way this looks, dude. It's so fucking cool. Bro, like I work in a weld shop that's like filled with fucking shit and dust and shit. Imagine walking into the office every day and seeing shit like this. Like this would be fucking dope.
Publisher to get those real, potentially high quality products funded, because there was so much at stake. Like to compete, you need to put more money in them. And then at that time, we're looking at free to play, and we heard amazing things about some of the more. I mean, World of Tanks is the most perfect.
World of Tanks,
phenomenal. I don't know what the budget was.
Everybody else got 50 ads on YouTube for this game.
$100 million budget to ship that out the door, and we
it's
love
a dream
the
job,
idea
yeah, bro, for real.
You know, you can initially ship something smaller, and we'd seen this in a few other games, and then grow beyond there. So it really seemed really appealing to us, that concept where you could try something out, see if the fans like it, and then grow as needed.
You know, the inspiration was...
Yeah, I don't know what's worse, World of Tank ads or fucking old school Wizard 101 ads. Got him so much, dude. Glad you are watching this. This is what we are. Yo, he oh my god, my stutter. Heathen Waves, thank you so much, dude. Fuck, I love you. This is what we are, absolutely.
Can we make something small? I mean, back the clock up 2 years, that would have been an XBLA game, right? But XBLA didn't seem to be landing the hits that maybe independent developers like we were hoping it would. And so that seemed like, okay, well, here's another option.
What the fuck?
My interest was not...
Raid Shadow Legends ads, oh my god. Bro, those were everywhere. Holy smokes. Use my code to get a free... Shut up.
Free to play, let's bilk the players, right? My interest was... well,
if you log in for 5 days, you get a free... Brother, shoot me.
Right? But XBLA didn't seem to be landing the hits that maybe independent developers like we were hoping it would. And so that seemed like, okay, well, here's another option. My interest was not, you know, free to play, let's bilk the players, right? My interest was, well, the scope of that sounds like something we could do with how much we have left. And it better work, because that's it.
Was it scary, the idea that, like, because you're not swimming
completely.
in capital?
It was it was a Hail Mary. It was like, it really was.
How close to closing were you guys, or how close to bankruptcy?
Yeah, really close, really close. Yeah, I can tell that story. It was pretty, it was super close. We knew that this was our last chance, and we had a couple $1 million extra, like, to do this with. We studied all the games out there, a couple, like a game called Drakensang, which I really enjoyed at the time, and World of Tanks, and was it Battlefield Heroes, I think had done all right. So we're looking at anything out there that looked like it was sustaining itself. I told Steve and the guys, you know, you got 12 months, that's it. There's like nothing but 12 months.
We had tried to make a version of Dark Sector multiple times. We had made this kind of weird MMO prototype using Unreal, and we had kind of servers and you could jump between them, and it was kind of starting to feel almost like, you know, it was very precursor. The original Planet Side was coming out, and we're like, oh man, and World War II Online, like people were starting to make these kind of action games, but with an MMO context. We were really attracted to that.
Steve had always thought of a Dark Sector sequel where we go back to the Space Ninja demo.
G-Off?
And he's thinking like a small space pirate raid. So we'd kind of do randomly generated ships. You'd raid these ships, get loot, and come back. With that original idea of his, you know, he kind of thought of it as a small, maybe like PSN or Xbox Live game type of thing that we just never really had the opportunity to make. So when we...
Familiar ship, isn't it? Looks very familiar, no? Holy fuck, dude. Yeah, it looks pretty familiar. Now I know what Salmon was saying earlier.
We were thinking about going into the free-to-play. This seemed like a really good, small, tangible demo that we could make. And it was, for us, it was like this thing we really loved that we really never got to execute on.
He reads his names as Jeff? Or he reads it... They call him Jeff? Okay, bet. That's so much better than what I said.
The US went to James and said, okay, we think we can do this really fast if it's this and it's small scope. And we think that, co-op is not has served as it gives us an opportunity not to be kind of going against the giants.
The team had a round of layoffs, but they were still 250 people large. Steve was put in charge of a small group, around a dozen people, who put together the demo for this new free-to-play game. Taking ideas as early as the original 2000s Dark Sector MMO, and much of the gameplay and visuals from their failed 2005 pitch of Dark Sector, they put together a demo of their spaceship raiding game in just under 2 months. Then Stephen Meredith went back on the road to try and pitch this game to free-to-play publishers looking for any sort of cash injection to help them keep the lights on.
And we had the most largest free-to-play publishers in the world, the richest. You know, I don't need to name them, but you can just like Google, who's the richest? Here they come. And they walked in and they said, this is great, I can't believe this. What an exciting meeting, I'm so good. And in slow motion, and the record needle scratch, because it was sci-fi.
Right.
And they just walked in.
As soon as they...
You mean to tell me they took all the ideas that all these publishers said, fuck you, change it to, made them better, and this is what Warframe ended up becoming, and it's been a massive success ever since? That literally proves my point perfectly, bro. Fuck those guys. Oh my god, I'm so happy this worked for them. Oh my god.
PvE and sci-fi.
I'm so happy this worked. Fuck those developers. They fucking deserve this shit.
I mean, at that same time,
they deserve to watch this fucking franchise skyrocket while they fucking...
They tour, they looked at what we've
They
been
keep their
building,
stupid ass ideas at home.
And his reaction was interesting. It was, this is the best looking free-to-play
I'm
game I've
hyped
ever
up.
seen. You will fail. Play game I've ever seen.
Hang on.
He looked at what we've been building, and his reaction was interesting. It was, this is the best looking free-to-play game I've ever seen. You will fail.
Fuck that guy.
Dave and I just looked at each other. Oh, kill me now. So why are we gonna fail? Well, because the game can't look this good and update as often as you need to build your community. And of course that was like branded on my ass, like frequent.
I would put that right behind my fucking cubicle, right behind my desk, right behind the wall. You will fail, in quotes from whoever the fuck this publisher was.
Fast updates, how are we gonna do this? So a lot of early tech in Warframe, like the procedural levels and that sort of stuff, completely geared to that kind of idea of frequent updating. Those publishers didn't bite. And so it was...
This is such a good story,
can we make
bro.
money before the end of the year? And that was
They
like, okay,
beg
so
DE
9
for
months
advice
to
now.
make it.
I bet they fucking do, Exit
When
Wound.
the
I
team tried
bet
to
they
make
do.
the original Dark Sector, the need to get a publisher influenced that game dramatically. But this time, Digital Extremes didn't have time to retool the game for publisher needs. And frankly, they didn't want to.
Yeah, why would
knew
they?
what type of project they were making.
Yup.
A free-to-play Space Ninja game they were currently calling Lotus. But what they didn't know was whether or not this game would be enough to help save the company.
This project was a massive shot in the dark. Not only had the team never made a free-to-play game before, but this game was going to be responsible for keeping a studio of 250 people afloat while they scrambled to look for more work-for-hire gigs. What actually transpired wouldn't only shock and surprise DE, but the entire video games world. In the next part in this series, we take a look at the remarkable story of Warframe.
God, yeah, exactly, Spark. If they would have taken the offer, the game would have 100% failed, because they wouldn't have made it how they wanted to. They would have been forced to change everything about it.
See you then.
Its production was funded entirely by the support of 4,367 patrons. Hell yeah! Shout out the patrons.
All right, so I'll get in position here and left trigger, and this is a contextual
shout out NOCLIP
area
for this
where
video.
I can
Real.
hang, jump up, drop down from to get the jump on enemies, to get into a better strategic position, to hide, and these are contextual areas in the level. Okay, left trigger up, and I hop up. Better get in here and right trigger. Yeah, take that.
Execute.
Nice shadow kill there, and that's done
Look at how the fucking
attack with the right
the
trigger,
camera panned down when he
allows
fell.
us to kill guards that are unaware of us. And of course, if he was aware of me, would have been a much different situation. So I'm going to show you focus now, and that's talked about left trigger and right trigger. Each stance also has a focus, and that's by pressing both triggers at one time. It allows us to do something per stance, and in this case, allows us to have this sort of X-ray vision, this stealth ping, so to speak, sort of a Daredevil-esque view of the world. And we can see those glowing red dots. Those are enemies. It lasts based on how long I focused for.
And just toggle X-ray from Minecraft?
They've sent up a sentient machine to look for me because their buddy hasn't checked in. So they're a little suspicious here. Very nice. So the thing that makes Hayden special, of course, is that he has a gift with these sentient machines in that he can sort of mind meld or link with them, as we call it. And that's one of the stances that we use in the game.
Bro, what a fucking video.